Hey my friends, welcome to this week's blog. This week we're going to talk about the F Pygmy RAV Pan. And this is an instrument with 11 notes, or 10 plus 1, as they say in the handpan world. You have a lot of possibilities in chord changes, in moving triads around. There's a lot available to you on this instrument. It's similar to the Celtic in that if you start halfway up it, you can get a Celtic minor or pentatonic scale. But if you start at the bottom, you have a traditional Pygmy scale. This scale is not the same as the RAV Vast version of this. This is a different iteration of that same scale. So don't expect when you buy this that it'll match up with whatever songs you play on your Vast version. You can still figure them out on this, but the note position is different. So that's just something you get used to if you transition to playing this. So we're going to look at the notes. I'm going to play you a little something to demonstrate what it sounds like. And then we can talk a little further about what makes this a special instrument. Let's take a look. Here are the notes. Some dyads. Alright, the bottom of this pan has two notes tuned into it. And for me, I really think that I like the stability of the top a little bit more than the bottom. The bottom notes are just extra notes that pair with a note on the top, so you're gaining a lower octave, but you're not actually gaining any other notes that are outside of the scale. But that just can complement whatever you're playing on the top. So if you're playing something like, you could reach underneath and add that as your bass note. Another thing I like about this is the Helmholtz resonance, which is the note that resonates because of the internal airspace inside of this. And that is activated by either tapping around the center, or you could use a flat palm. But the Helmholtz resonance is tuned to this note. So you get a really, really deep, rich sound, and it kind of complements whatever you're playing. I think one of the main amazing features about this particular pan is the amount of sympathetic resonance. Just hitting the center F, you get this massive bloom. It's a pan that doesn't need to be played heavy-handed, not that any of them need to be played heavy-handed, but just a light touch is all it's needed to be pretty loud. It's probably one of the louder pans I've ever played. So what is the difference between a RAV Pan and a RAV Vast or RAV Vast 2? They're actually very different instruments in terms of how sound is created. These function based off of hammered tone fields. There's tension created in the steel through repeated hammering. That tension allows the steel to vibrate in a certain note. and they obviously tune the octave and the fifth into them. So how is the RAV Pan different than the RAV Vast? The RAV Pan belongs to a different family of instruments. This is based off of a steel membrane vibrating back and forth to create the sound. So it's based off of tension, whereas the RAV Vast is based off of the weight of the tongues. So the bigger the tongue, obviously, the more weight and mass it has. This same goes for this, but the mechanism for actually creating a vibration is different. The RAV Pan and the RAV Vast sound very, very different. Neither one is better than the other one. The RAV Pan has certain tonal characteristics. It's a little more woody sounding than other pans that I've heard. It doesn't have that sort of high-end metallic twang to it that some hand pans have. Whereas the RAV Vast is closer to a pure note. This is more of an earthy feel to me, but that's just a personal taste thing. This pan also has a pretty long sustain time. I also think the main stability of this instrument is in the top. I think the bonus notes on the bottom are great, and I think I will definitely use them in compositions. And it's just harder to reach these notes. So if you were a beginner working on this, I think that you could just ignore the bottom notes to begin with and then add them into your playing. But it adds for an interesting flavor if you throw them in a chord change, like. There's lots of things you can do with them. But it also means holding it in a different position. I'm not someone who likes to play on stands, so for me, I have to find the right spot where my knees are not muting these two, which again isn't a big deal, but it's something to think of if you're someone who's more comfortable playing on your lap versus on a stand. And obviously on the stand it's easier to reach over and hit these notes as well. So advantages of the RAV Pan, things that I think are great. It's not metallic. It doesn't have a lot of extra overtones and sort of metallic twanginess that I've heard on some pans. I think that's partially due to the brass rim. It's very well tuned, has a lot of harmonic pairing, so there's some sympathetic vibration, which I think is good, between the center note, the F, and the octave. And there's a little bit of harmonic pairing with the top note as well, which is the fifth of that F. This is also a nitrided pan, so it has a little bit of resistance to rust, but you still need to be diligent in wiping it down and using whatever oil product you would typically use on your RAV Vast or your other hand pans. I also would invest in a bag. I don't know if some point RAV is going to be offering bags for these as well, but for traveling, a hard case is super important because unlike the RAV Vast and the RAV Vast 2, these can come out of tune if they're struck or bumped or too much pressure is put on them. And that's true of all hand pans and hong as well. You want to be protecting this as much as you possibly can. Whereas the RAV Vast soft case is really all you need. I've never had one come out of tune, and I've had people drop them on me and when they were carrying them. This is a whole different realm in terms of being mindful of how hard you're hitting it and being mindful of what is coming in contact with it. Definitely invest in a hard case. Find a cleaning and a rust preventative product that you like. I think you'll enjoy this pan. Alright my friends, I hope this review was useful to you. Again, I recommend trying this in person if you can find someone who has it, just to see if this fits your style of playing and the sound you're looking for, because every handpan maker sounds very different. I'm really, really loving the warm, woody tonal quality of this pan. I think for the price range, it's an extremely well-made instrument. But music is all taste, so some people may think other ones sound better, and it's personal taste. Recommend trying this if you have a chance, and look out for a bunch of new videos on my YouTube page with this. Question of the week. is, if you had Rav create a custom scale for you, what would that scale be? It could be any combination of notes, but I'm curious what you guys would want. I would want a harmonic minor scale, I think, or a modified Hijaz scale. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And again, ask any questions you have below, and someone will get back to you, either myself or someone on the RAV team. Have a great week, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.